Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्त देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। अन्धन्तमः प्रविशन्ति अन्धन्तमः प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमः ततो भूय इव ते तमः यौ विद्यया गुम्रताः यौ विद्यया गुम्रताः. Yesterday we were talking about karma. People committed to karma enter into blinding darkness. In Shastra, when the word karma is used, it has a specific meaning. What is the specific meaning? Karma means two types of karma. Committed to kartavya karma. Karma means that commitment to those actions which ought to be done, which one ought to perform, enjoined by Shastras. And there are desire prompted karma as well. But then those karmas are pursued as per dharma. The end, desired end is legitimate, and the means to gain the desired end is also legitimate. That kind of commitment to karma. Or third, you can add commitment to reaching out karma, not enjoined, not desire prompted, but out of empathy or out of value or out of commitment, they perform certain reach out karmas called as Ishta Purta Karmani, the Shastric language. Any karma, contributory karmas, which they do out of will, those who commit to this karma, they go to blinding darkness. Okay? How do they go to blinding darkness? First of all, you are born in darkness. Darkness is a symbol of ignorance, and light is a symbol of knowledge. Why? There is a similarity. In darkness, when the thing is right in front of you, it is right available to you, but it is as though not available. Though in front of you, you don't see it right there, in spite of it being available and there. So also when there is ignorance, you see the thing, but still as though you don't see. Like there's some solutions. Typical, what we call Indian jugaad, Indian mechanic. You take your car or a scooter to a mechanic, he will open the bonnet and take some spanner and hit something, and then it will start. And you opened it 5, 10 times and tightened this plug and cleaned that, and nothing happened. But he could see that connection is loose here, and then he hits it. And he says, you have to do welding or something like that. So solution is right in front of you, but you don't see it. Benefits may be there in front of you of certain things, but you don't know it and therefore you don't pursue it. Person having a treasure hidden under the roof or under the floor doesn't know. It is there but not available. That is the effect of ignorance, and that is the effect of no effect of darkness. Darkness is removed by light. When you throw the light, you bring to light what was there already. You throw the light, and what was there is brought to light. It becomes available to you. So also the knowledge makes the thing available to you. Or you can go on. There are so many similes. In darkness, you hit somewhere. You just walk and get yourself hurt, not knowingly that this thing was lying over there or you didn't see that. So also ignorant person keeps getting hurt in samsara. That's not physical hurt. It's psychological hurt. It's emotional hurt. It's cognitive hurt because of some wrong, false values. They did not respect me and I am very badly hurt. I said, why the hell you care for their respect? They said about me this thing and therefore I am hurt. You are empowering them to hurt you. Let them say. Those people who can hurt, whose statement hurt you, who are valuable to you, whom you think are important in your life, whom you think they are big persons in your life, then later on you don't care, then you don't get hurt. While studying in the school or college or universities, the student get hurt because of his friends telling him something or her something. The same guy becomes a big businessman. The person who was hurting him often remains at a middle level and still he says something. You don't care. You don't value. When you value a person, his or her remarks hurts you. This is cognitive hurt. You value your company, you value your position, you value your colleague, etc., and something happened, you get hurt. It's okay. This is how it is. So, like darkness, you get hurt. So, also in ignorance, false values. I mean, let's say improper values, improper ideals, improper attitudes, improper way of looking at things, looking at relation, looking at your position, looking at money, etc., gets hurt. So, darkness is symbolized by, ignorance, it symbolizes ignorance, and opposite to darkness, it is light, is a symbol for knowledge. Even in language, they use this. You want to know something, they say, please throw some light on this subject. They tell, now Swamiji will throw some light on Bhagavad Gita. I don't take a torch and throw light. Throwing light means you explain it, you unfold the thing. Please throw some light to this problem we are facing, Swamiji. Please guide us. It is knowledge. And still further, by the way, that is why sannyasi wears this color. You know, these modern children, especially US and now India also, English medium children, they ask me, Swamiji, is this your uniform? I said, yeah, it's my uniform. And they say, when you first of all, I get puzzled what to say this. Then I say, in a way, you can say, this is my uniform. Then the next question, because they are thinking guys, you have to wear uniform 24 hours or at night you change and you wear night dress. How can you sleep with the same clothes at night? They don't know this. This is the color of light. In those days, the two sources of light, three you can say: sun, fire, and moon. That's all it was. There was no electricity. The well lit fire or sun color is this particular orange. So it signifies a person who is committed to pursuit of knowledge. Sannyasa is a lifestyle with 100% commitment to pursuit of knowledge at the exclusion of everything else. There is no duty, there is no kartavya, not even any kind of seva feva. Once you realize and then do it, your prarabdha or your will, whatever it is, you get to get opportunity or you get this and you do it. When you take a sannyasa, he then do this a modern like seva, and Swamiji would say, having taken sannyasa, he started making Chavanprash. That he could have done without sannyasa also. Need not do take to sannyasa. There is a vakya, sannyasya shastra shravanam eva kurya. Pursuit for truth, pursuit for essence is sannyasa. That is why sannyasi wear this clothes. A seeker generally wears white cloth. White, as per our Bharat national flag, is a orange is a color of valor, and green is a color of prosperity, and white is a color of peace. It is not. It is still further. Peace may be superfluous, you know. Then there can be peace at the border, India-China border now, but that's not a peace. It is already in pieces, fragmented piece. It is there. So white is a color of purity. White is a color of alertness. White is a color of self-introspection. When you wear white, you become very conscious where to sit and where not to sit, because that color will reflect. It is in a way, you know, it's a no color. When all the seven are reflected back, then it is white. But that color, for the time being, I use the word, the white is a color which absorbs all the dirt and manifest also. You can see that. It is our, what that brand, I forgot, the jeans. There are brand, famous jeans are there. Some America, I see on the belt written. The jeans, it, whether it is dirty or not, you don't come in the white clothes, you see the dirt. But if it is a jeans, you not see the dirt, you smell the dirt. The fellow keeps on wearing it for 15 days, 20 days, and he comes to next sit to you. Then you are sitting and something falls down in the flight and you pick up. Your nose goes near the jeans. You wonder whether I'm sitting near the toilet or what. You know? So that jeans, dirt you don't see, you smell the dirt, you know. You don't see it. That is a Kali Yuga Rahasyam, American Rahasyam. Though those dots should be seen, but it is smelt anyway. The white is alertness. You don't let the dirt stick to your clothes. That's a color for seeker who is very alert, very conscious, or cleanliness of the mind. And when the mind is relatively pure, then you pursue the knowledge. Anyway, andam tamah pravishanti. So you are born in darkness. What do you mean by born in darkness? Means you are born ignorant. Each of us is born ignorant with reference to oneself, ignorant with reference to Ishvara, ignorant with reference to reality of the world. Nobody knows what the truth is. You are born ignorant and they enter into further ignorance, further darkness. Why? This person, if he is too committed to duty, see, that is also one kind of bondage. Maya. They say it's very difficult. That is a bondage. I have to do this. There is a sense of doership, and that doer has concluded that I must perform such and such an action. The person is so busy in performing and doing the things, he or she doesn't have inner leisure to look at himself, doesn't have inner space for himself, doesn't have time for himself. This is a bondage. Typical Indian grandparents, I tell them, you come to class. Then he says, you come to the camp. No, Swamiji, how can we come to the camp? He said, what's the problem? You are already retired for last 5 years and you have enough money. Come. I mean, he said, is fiscal? No, my money is not an issue. And I said, there are no flights are available. You come. I just take it on face value. Then he says, no, no, no. I have responsibility. I said, what responsibility? Both the children, your son and daughter are married and they have children, and son has 2 children and daughter already one, and she gave birth to second one who is 3, 4 years old. What responsibility? No, my daughter's younger son, we have to bring him up. When she goes to office, we have to take care of the baby. We have to give good samskara. We have to give right kind of bringing up. You know how proud we are about our daughter? We want him to be like that. I wonder what to tell, because the daughter only came and told me previous day, Swamiji, take them to camp. I don't want them to do bringing up my child. They are thinking about the right growth of the right samskara is different. They don't understand certain modern factual realities, and they keep pushing the way they brought me up, and I don't want that. Please take them to Rishikesh. And this fellow says, no, it is my kartavya. This is samsara. Even commitment to cleanliness. I've seen some people so committed that we have to maintain the house spick and span. We have to maintain the garden spick and span. Everybody should come and tell, oh, your house is so beautiful, so well decorated, well designed, everything is so nice. That kartavyata doesn't give person inner leisure for himself or herself, doesn't have time for himself or herself. One. Or when pursues desire prompted karmas, or pursues seva. I said 3 meanings of karma. Pursue some seva karma. Whatever seva you do, sometimes people get so obsessed with the work. They think this is the thing that everybody should do. One must do seva, and not only any other seva, but this is the only seva. No, all kinds of people I have seen doing in hospitals and feeding people and giving education, and then doing water works and all kinds of things. So many seva ideals. And it's a good sign, there is an empathy. But driven by empathy, they are always extrovert, thinking of the growth of the seva. If desire prompted, even though the foundation or the basis is dharma, but they are busy in fulfilling one or other desire. In this person, in case of these kind of people, there is always growth of Rajo. Rajo ragatmakam viddhi trishna sanga samudbhava. Karma sangena badhnati. It binds you with the karma. It enhances your bondage day in and day out unless you are conscious. There is nothing wrong in performing duty. There is nothing wrong in doing some seva. There is nothing wrong in fulfilling your desires. It's praiseworthy that you have a foundation of dharma and you're doing. What is it missing? One should know where to draw boundaries. That people don't see. Our structure was so beautiful. This ashrama vyavastha, no? Brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Grahastha, well, there is a boundary to it. After 50, you live as a friend and give up all the responsibility to children. And you shift your role from managing director to chairman. And then just guide them if they want any guidance and to do some upasana. And there also there was a boundary to take to sannyas. In any relationship, in any kartavya karma, people don't, even business, as I said, at the age of 70 also, they had this question mark, how can I retire? I have so much in the business. And it becomes another addiction. They don't need money. That kick for power and fame is also not there. But addiction to karma, addiction to do something, that means born ignorant and remains further ignorant. It becomes confounded ignorance. And these people neglect two things: the emotive aspect of the personality, the relationship, family, friends, etc. There is only one kind of relation, that is business relation they can think of. They neglect the aspect of personality. And as I said, this karma makes them more and more extrovert, always thinking about what they are doing, always pursuing about what is to be achieved in one way or other. That mind becomes extrovert. And as they say in Gujarati, man eva manvi. What is your mind, so you become. And that mind which is thinking of gross objects, worldly situation, ends up there in another yoni where he gets these things only and that kind of vasana. Therefore, he says, andham tamah pravisha, blinding darkness. And the yavu vidyarataha, those who are committed to vidya. Vidya means upasaka, those who are doing upasanas. Upasana means those who are committed to activity at a mental level. These people committed to literature, arts, performing arts, or poets, writers, thinkers, or upasakas, they go to darker blinding darkness, greater blinding darkness. Why? These people, this person committed to literature or writers or poet or artists, artisans, or you can say upasakas, whatever, they often reveal in their own psychological world, mental world. They are always thinking of it. They are always brooding of it. It is like a dream. They are always visualizing. The joy in poetry, listening poetry or making poem or writing or some writers, etc. They are in their own world. What happens to them? Often these people are oblivious or ignorant to certain facts of the life, vyavhara, what we call it. Because they don't see the objective world. They don't connect to the objective world objectively because they live in the subjective world. See, if you go to Vrindavan or if you go to Ayodhya and see those bhaktas, I have seen whatever vigraha they are worshipping, they are so emotionally charged And they are, in a way, it looks to us they are dreaming. And they are so absorbed in that emotion of the Vigraha, either of a devotee or a sakha or a mata, whatever role they assume and connect. They don't see the world as it is. They live often in their private world of emotions. These people, there is some disconnect with the society, disconnect with the fellow human beings, disconnect with certain situations of life. They go to further darkness. Why? Look here. The human life is a gift, special gift for a special purpose. What is a gift that we enjoy? As they say, you gloss over the obvious. You miss the obvious. It's so obvious, but we just miss it. Threefold Shakti we have extra. None of the species has this threefold Shakti. They have, but very, very limited. Compared to us, you can say it is not there. There is no Shakti, nothing that we are gifted with. What is it? One is Gnana Shakti, capacity to know, capacity to infer, capacity to think in three dimensions, capacity of abstraction, all we have. They don't have any gnana. Their knowledge is limited to what? Survival knowledge. What to eat, what not to eat. Whom to be afraid of, whom not to be afraid of. That's all. Simple survey. It's all binary knowledge. This yes, no, yes, no. And there is no even ichha to have knowledge. There is no gnana shakti, not even jignasa for knowledge. Natum ichha. That is also missing. There is no jignasa whatsoever. It is only because of knowledge we have advancement in science and technology, capacity to know and desire to know. Then there is ichha, capacity to desire. It sometimes becomes mother of inventions. And that desire only prompts the fellow to do, and we have capacity to act, what we call as a kriya shakti. So complete. Certain desire don't come to animal. There are no beauty parlors. A dog doesn't want to go to a beauty parlor. But dog's mistress would take the dog to beauty parlor, for trimming the hair of the dog. And poor dog doesn't know he's sitting like this. And being what it is restless, it wants to get up. She says, "No, Tommy, sit down." Poor fellow sits there. Doesn't know. He doesn't know where is a saloon for the dog. Special saloon for the dog. Doesn't bother. No ichha. No ichha to change itself. No ichha to change the world also. Therefore, they don't have fight between husband and wife. You don't change, then I don't change, and we change. Let us break the relation. That doesn't happen. No desire. Sky is a limit for desires. And Kriya Shakti, look at this. This is a symbol of Kriya Shakti. It is because of thumb we are able to do nth number of activities, including holding the toothbrush onwards, including making a roti, dog, make roti. That also you need a thumb. To eat also you need a thumb. To drive you need a thumb. And imagine without thumb, what would Apple do? Smartphones. You can't type the messages, Apple and all companies manufacturing smartphone, they should be thanking Ishvara to give us thumb. Otherwise, keypad would be different. You can't type by holding the phone. It is because of the thumb you hold it and you keep typing the messages. So many things. Yes, we can do so many kriyas. So this extra power gift is not to aggrandize more and more arthakamas. It is for dharma, and dharma is ultimately for moksha. Dharma is not a purushartha as an end. It can be independent purushartha in our culture. Some people have it, and it is an independent. But then it is not the end purushartha. Dharma also is for moksha. And human body is cut out, is capable to gain moksha because moksha is you. It is capable of gaining the self-knowledge. And this is the purpose of human body. And a lifestyle should be such that I should be able to fulfill the fundamental purpose of my existence as a human being. I should be able to achieve the ultimate goal or ultimate end, which every human heart is yearning. And that is moksha, which I said yesterday, happiness. And for that, this is the body. The human body is meant for moksha. If life is lived in such a way that I am not led to moksha, that means you go to darkness, blinding darkness. You continue in ignorance, and this 84 lakhs birth, this is the only birth which has a Gnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti to gain knowledge. If not used for it, that means you are confounding the ignorance. So, you can say this. By the way, the purpose of this Varnashram Vyavastha, it's so unfortunate. As I said just now, people gloss over what is obvious. And they say Hindu had lived a life like this, Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, Vanaprastha, etc. This is how the Hindu society lives. But there was a purpose. This lifestyle is like an assembly. If you get into that assembly line, that thing will end up in becoming the finished product by itself. At every stage, things will take up, added, and then finally it is finished product. Varna Ashram Vyavastha, especially Ashram Vyavastha and Varna Vyavastha, was designed like an assembly. If you follow this Varna Ashram Vyavastha, you end up in the finished product that is called moksha. Whole structure or the infrastructure of society was cut out for moksha, not for more pleasures and more money. If your goal is to have more money, that structure won't work. If the goal is to have more pleasure and power, the structure doesn't give that, and therefore it doesn't work. Then American structure will work, capitalist structure. You want moksha, this Varnashram Vyavastha, that entire infrastructure, and actions to be done, the lifestyle to be lived, was designed to take you to moksha. And the first step in that escalator, I don't not call a staircase, it's an escalator. Because you are led there and you get into one, slowly you go to all, if you are aware of it. is Viveka, give rise to discrimination. And the Viveka can come only when you have a sattvic mind and subtle. The whole structure is to provide you pure and subtle mind, sattvika and single pointed, focused mind. When that is there, Viveka takes place. Viveka leads to Vairagya, and Vairagya leads to Mokshecha, and Mokshecha leads to you pursuing the search for a guru, and then teachings, and then Shravanaman Nididhyasana, and then Moksha. That was meant for it. This is a purpose. If you say, what's the relevance of Varnashram Vyavastha today? In a modern society, in modern Vyavahara, no relevance. Whether you are a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra, doesn't matter. Because the society is committed to more money and more pleasure. But it is irrelevant also. Why? Because modern society also wants the same thing which a primitive society wanted. That is, each one of them wanted total happiness, and that's what you want. It's all the bottom line is, and to be totally happy, you need not pursue the objects and situation. You need to pursue proper frame of mind, which itself becomes happy. It aids the process of discovering that I am Nityananda. All happiness is myself. That means you have made it. That is the purpose. That is a successful living. So, a lifestyle which leads to Sattva Pradhana, predominantly Sattvic mind. Lifestyle which leads you to Mokshacha or Viveka and Vairagya, then it is a proper life. Otherwise, Andhantamah Pravishan. These people who are just committed to work and achievement and etc., and people committed to this literature and arts and performing arts and all the mental world, they go to darkness because there is no Viveka. And when Viveka is not there, there is no Vairagya. The first step is not there. Then how are you going to go ahead on the escalator? So, in absence of Vairagya, there is no possibility of having any Vairagya. They go to further darkness. I had discussed in length while talking about Tattvabodha. Again, few things I had told in Upadeshsar, and I would like to repeat again. Vairagya is not an action. You're not, they say Vairagya means give up. There's nothing to be given up. First of all, who asked you to possess? And how do you say it is mine? It is not theirs. Where are you going to give up? Like if somebody comes and tells me, Swamiji, you should give up Mercedes car. There is no Mercedes, it belongs to me. There is a question of giving up. It's all psychology. Vairagya means objectivity. To see people, to see the situation, to see the objects as it is. Eyes will show as it is. Mind will have likes and this. Oh, I love this, I don't like this, I hate it. This is all raga. This is how it is, and this is what the use is, and this is how I should employ this, and this is how it is going to be. Not only objects, but objectivity to myself. Objectivity in my relationship, objectivity in my possession, objectivity in my pursuits, objectivity in my attitudes. That is Vairagya. One may not give up the things, but still can be Virakta. Because he or she views the things objective. And one may give up and still be subjective. Vairagya is your mindset, not an action. So that I learned to be objective. And it is subjectivity only causes pain and frustration and stress and anxiety and fear and apprehension and all kinds of things are subjective. Exactly like a doctor, when he examines the patient, he tells this is the problem, this is how it is, and this is the cure, and you need to be operated. But then, sir, are you sure that I'll be all right? Yes, yes, you'll be all right. My all operations are successful, and here are the patients. You can talk to them. Will be all right. No, 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 don't worry. Just dismisses the fellow in 5 minutes. Complete objectivity. And not complete. There may be some subjectivity in Indian doctors that he may pray, I hope this patient comes to me so I can get 25,000 for operation and 30,000 for medicine. My dates are empty, and because of Corona, nowadays I don't have clients, patients to operate. Good that he comes. There may be little subjectivity due to COVID, or more than many. But then his object is the same thing is there with his wife. He will consult two other doctors and he himself will not operate. Vairagya means objective. Life, forget about moksha temporarily. Even if you can't gain moksha, if you develop objectivity in your life, you have made. People get shaken. People get stressed. I've seen people suddenly developing blood pressure, suddenly developing cholesterols and migraines and all kinds of problems. Some imbalance in the family, brother, or sister, or the spouse, or mother, or father, or something in between them. And then this fellow lives in the ideal. That is another problem. That is another subjectivity. What should be ideal family? And I have taken upon myself to make my family as ideal. That's all. You are ready for tsunami. Let your child be teenager. That's it. Your ideal family, ideal father, ideal mother, ideal son would become non-ideal. And that gives him stress. My progeny is like this, Swamiji, I can't. And every day something goes on, discussion and hot discussion between father and son and mother and daughter, all kinds. It's okay, it is like that. Accept it. No, I can't. In the process, that fellow gives stress to others. And the others then pass on the stress to this fellow, and then again further. So each one help others to be more stressful. I tell you, see that you can have problems of have-nots. You may not have few things which you need to have. You can have problems of haves. Traffic jam is a haves problem. Before 50 years, we never knew. Even in Bombay, there was no issue of traffic and traveling problem and all. Today, in this modern world, I see 90% of the problems are problems of subjectivity. Their own values, their own ideas, their own attitudes, their own thinking. How can I tolerate this? You don't ask me how can I. Just start tolerating, you will learn. Subjective. Small world to relate. But your own values, your own ideals, your own thinking creates havoc for you. You can't deal with your mind. You can't deal with your life. This is all because of subjective values. Objective to world, objects, people, situations, relations. Our Shastra and our Hindu infrastructure is so excellent. Unknowingly teaches you to be objective. When you can't be objective, they give certain attitudes which acts as a buffer, like a jumper absorbing the shocks. Life is full of unpleasant situations. Life is full of difficulties. Life is full of roadblocks. Emotive roadblocks, physical roadblocks, cognitive roadblocks, status roadblocks. It will always be there. It's a pipe dream to expect that my life should be problem free. Cannot be. If it is, get married. Full stop. Problem. हिंदी में बच्चा जब हट करे तो के बाल हट के भाई, स्त्री हट करे तो स्त्री हट के भाई, राजा हट करे तो राज हट के भाई, पति हट करे तो पीछे हट के पति हट के भाई पीछे enough to one person, add one person in your life, those situations, people have stress, people have anxiety, apprehensions, and then they feel so much stress that they develop blood pressure. It's okay, it's very unfavorable, unpleasant. So what? I have to deal with it and deal it out. If you can be objective. I tell you, I've seen this. I was so amazed and I felt so great when I worked for this Kutch earthquake. Then they showed on TV and it generated so much of empathy and people had a lot of pain, and seeing them, and that empathy got converted into help. They reach out. When you are empathizing, then you reach out and people gave help. And I happened to have an opportunity to work for Red Cross. It was a 7 crore project then, and I traveled across the Kutch and all that. And then after 6 months, they were objective to earthquake. Those who had lost homes and lost family and lost properties and so many things. Swamiji, ho gaya, in a typical Gujarati, mara wala ni zevi isa. Whatever God wished, it happened. It's okay. Now we'll do it. They were objective. But our members of the parliaments keep remembering earthquake. they keep remembering this. Muslim committee never remembered that this Babri Masjid was broken. But MPs in the parliament remembered more than that. They were objecting. We tod diya, to tod diya. And they are still, some of them are objective. This is how the judgment is, and we accept it. But politicians implant subjectivity in their mind. Culture gave them, chalo prarabdh mein. Bhagwan ki jo ichha, whatever is the wish of the Lord. That's how my destiny is, and that's how I have to live. That's an objective perception. Objective person never carries the load of the past in his life. It's out, it's full stop, it's over. So, when you live a life in such a way that you become objective, you develop a vairagya in the life, that is the right, proper way of living. That is the steps or digging a foundation or taking a first step towards light, towards knowledge. If not, life is lived in such a way that you are creating a foundation for ignorance, or you are not even stepping towards the light, you are stepping towards further darkness. Therefore, it is said, Andhan tamah pravishanti ye avidyam upas. After death, both ways you can say. After death, they go to yonis where they have pleasures. And these Vidya Upasaka, committed to upasanas and bhakti and meditation and art and literature and etc., they go to further darkness. Why? They, they don't rub themselves to the world. Whenever there is a rub and there is a pain, bruise, they just withdraw themselves into their own cobwebs. And they feel happy, they feel content, they feel satisfied. So there is no possibility of vairagya for these people. So they get joy in the subjective world, in literature, in arts or performing arts or whatever. They get so much of joy, they don't want any interaction with the world because it gives them unpleasant or unhappiness. And therefore they lived in their own world. And therefore it is said further darkness because they live a life which will never lead them to Vairagya, will never lead them to Viveka, will never take them to objectivity. So they live in subjectivity, bhava, as they call it. So, tato bhuyaha ivatama. They are very sensitive because they deal with emotions, they deal with the mind. But then they are not, they are sensitive, all right, but they neglect karma, they neglect the vyavhara, they neglect the reality which is in front of them. So possibility of vairagya becomes less and less. Karma, if done properly with the attitude, it gives antahkarana shuddhi, it gives purity of the mind. And upasanas done with certain attitude gives a subtlety, single pointedness of the mind, which in both of them are necessary. So both of them are necessary. One can have clean mind, but not quiet mind, but not single pointed or focused mind. That person cannot focus on the study. And one may be very sharp and intelligent, but the mind is impure. The mind will be nagging the person when he or she is relaxing. I want that vishaya, I want to have this, that, etc. They both of them independently are not qualified for knowledge. If just committed to karma, you are not qualified now. You don't want also. And upasana also not. Therefore, it is says they go to more dark worlds hereafter. The next mantra, I think we'll see next week, next Saturday. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. See you then on Saturday, Sunday.